Okay, uh, a film releasing, Australian film releasing on November 23rd is a really remarkable thriller, a film called The Royal Hotel. And it's my great pleasure to be speaking to the director and co-writer of The Royal Hotel, Kitty Green. Kitty, welcome to Movie Metropolis.
Hi, thanks for having me. It's great.
Great to talk to you. And before I talk to you about the Royal Hotel, I must commend you on your film, The Assistant, which I thought was a terrific film, and of course also stars Julia Garner.
Yes. Yes, yeah, I mean I love working with her. So we hope to keep making them. Hopefully we can keep making movies together. We'd like to do a third one. So we'll see how we go.
Okay, so tell me, what was the inspiration behind the Royal Hotel?
Um I saw a documentary I was on a panel and I saw a documentary called Hotel Coolgardie, which is about two Finnish backpackers who take a job in an outback mining town.
Uh-huh.
And I immediately was, curious. I hadn't seen a film that looked at the sort of Australian, not just the Australian outback, but Australian drinking culture that way through like through the eyes of young women, but also through foreign women who didn't really understand the culture and were trying to make sense of it. So I like that dynamic. I thought that was interesting. And so that became kind of the jumping off point for a screenplay.
Oh, yes, I know that documentary. How interesting that that was your inspiration. So, tell me about writing the screenplay, and because you worked with Oscar Redding on the screenplay, how easy was it to fashion the story and the screenplay?
I don't know. Working with Oscar was a lot of fun, so we kind of enjoyed ourselves. So it kind of felt easy because it was very organic, I guess. And I think I was in New York at the time, and he was in Australia, and I would write all day, and then I'd send it to him, and then he would write all his day, which was my night. So I'd wake up, and there'd be a new, fresh version of the script. You know what I mean? So it was kind of encouraging. The two of us were kind of jumping all over each other, trying to get it done, and playing around with all the dialogue and stuff. So that was fun. And he's got a really wild brain, Oscar. So he sort of thinks things in, everything's a little different that comes out of Oscar's mind. So it was always a lot of fun. Yeah.
Okay,
Um,
because I was so intrigued by the film because it could have gone in so many directions, and I was half expecting as I was watching it a wake in fright sort of moment or something like that. So
uh,
yeah, so I don't know if there were any films that, apart from the documentary that you mentioned, that might have influenced the way you approached making the Royal Hotel.
there wasn't so much other movies. I just was conscious of I didn't want the women to be. When you see the women in those outback films, they often end up brutally murdered, and I was conscious self-discovery and strength and things like that. So that centers these women, and so yeah. But I guess we looked at things like Wake of Fright. We watched Straw Dogs again, like movies like that that sort of set, town versus in foreign incoming new people. So yeah, there's a lot of elements of different sort of movie references, but it was mostly our own kind of story essentially. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Oh, certainly, it certainly goes in some directions which I didn't expect, which is great. I like that. It was shot, I gather, in South Australia. Where did you find the pub and the locations?
It was yeah. We found it was the first pub we visited. Weirdly, I wanted a two-story pub, so we want a grand old place that was once a grand old institution and had fallen into a bit of financial ruin. And we found this one on the road to all the other ones, 3 hours north of Adelaide, approximately, in a town called Yatina of 29 people, and it's since been abandoned. And so we were able to kind of take it over and do what we wanted with it, which was perfect. We had a great time out there. Oh, my phone's ringing. Sorry. Decline.
Okay.
Okay, sorry about that.
I love live interviews. That's great. Now,
Yeah.
of course, timing, of course, casting Julia Garner, as you say, it was a no-brainer. She's fantastic again in the lead. But also Jessica Henwick. Tell me about how the two worked together and how you worked with them.
I don't know. I cast Jess because I knew she would get along. She seemed like our kind of people. She seemed fun and like down to earth, and but had done a lot of great work, and so she sort of felt like she'd fit in. So the two of them got along really, really well, and it was a really lovely bond that they had, which we were very fortunate that it all worked out, and it felt like a great relationship that kind of then was very easy to convey on screen. It's not that kind of closeness, I guess.
Did you have much rehearsal time with them and the cast before you started shooting?
I had a lot booked in, but we didn't actually use a lot of it. I think the two of them seem to kind of like to throw themselves into this. I mean, it's a script film about girls that are new and don't just figuring out this environment. So it made sense that we kind of threw them into it a little bit. So they like that, I think.
Okay, well done. And of course,
Yeah.
you have a good supporting cast like Hugo Weaving, who must have enjoyed his role.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he had a good time. He's such a lovely guy, and he was such a lovely kind of captain of our ship and kept everyone in line. And yeah, so he was really wonderful to work with. And he likes rehearsal, by the way. We did a lot of rehearsal with he and I and Ursula Jovic, who plays Carol. So that was their process was a little more, detailed. The girls were a little looser, but it all kind of worked out in the end.
Oh, excellent! And Ursula also is so good. But I also recognise, of course, James Fresherville and Daniel Henschel. Nice to see them
Mm-hmm.
both in the film.
Yeah, they were wonderful to work with. A good bunch of guys, and Toby Wallace too, who plays Maddie, and
Oh,
he's
yeah.
lovely too. It was a really nice group of people actually, and they all had a good time together. So I didn't have to worry about them too much because they were off having fun, the group of them, which was good.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
How long
Yeah.
did it take you to shoot the film? Because I can imagine that it wouldn't have been easy necessarily with the environment that you're in to shoot continuously.
It was 5 weeks, 2 weeks of exterior locations and 3 weeks in the interior of the pub.
Ah,
Um, so it was pretty quick, but we made do lots of travel in that time to get to those certain areas. There's like a water tank they go to swim in and things like that that took kind of a minute to get to. So it was within that 5 weeks we spent a lot of time on the road, but yeah, we somehow pulled it off on that short schedule. We were very planned a lot and tried to stick to a schedule and make it work. Yeah.
okay. And I gather the way you shot the film, the script was pretty much locked off. You didn't do any changes, or you didn't change anything in terms of ending or anything like that during the filming.
No, no, it was because we had such a short shoot, we really had to be very specific about what we were getting. So we were very there was a lot of planning and a lot of maps and detailed ideas as to how this would all come together so we could get it all done within the time frame.
Oh, well done indeed. And tell me about the two aspects that also stood out: the cinematography. I mean, the look of the film is so good, and the use of music.
I don't know, the cinematography, it's pretty simple. It's funny, Michael and I worked together for a long time, and we had to do this exercise recently where we picked our 6 favorite shots, and we were kind of going through them going, there's nothing really flashy. It's very we just shot what we needed and we prioritized the drama, more than anything, more than the fancy cinematography. But I think it works because it's quite precise and it's quite, it's not too flashy. It feels like real or authentic or something. So it's sort of a nice balance I think we found. And the lighting's really beautiful. He did a great job with that. And then we had yeah, the music was a big job. There's a lot of people involved in picking all those tracks and figuring out what was playing on that jukebox and getting the rights to Kylie Minogue and a lot of little bits and pieces that made all that happen. But it's a great soundtrack. It's a lot of fun. All the songs are really fabulous. So
Okay, okay, yeah, they are. They are. No, it all fits together really nicely. And the production design, is, as you say, you fitted out the pub yourself. And it looks so realistic as a functioning pub. So when I started to see a few things being thrown around, I thought, uh-oh.
yeah. No, I mean it's a built set, the interior of at least of the bar that Leah Popple, my production designer, worked really hard on to make that feel real and lived in and decayed and like all that stuff. So it was really a great job she did. And then the rest of it was all on location, but it was just that main set was the hardest job for everyone. But I don't know, they really pulled it off. There's a lot of detail in that set. There's a lot of lovely little trinkets and things hanging around that bar that you really would find in a place like that. So they really did a great job.
They did. They did. As I said, it looked like an actual functioning pub. So I was very
Mm.
impressed.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the beer taps worked a few times. I think we had some trouble making them work more than that, but it was fun for a minute. It was a working bar for a second. Yeah.
Now, I know the film is releasing November 23rd in Australia nationally, but it's already been shown elsewhere, I gather.
Yeah, we screened in Telluride in the States and Toronto, and then we did London Film Festival and San Sebastian in Spain. So we've done a few festivals, and we just arrived in Sydney for South by Southwest and Adelaide, and then it's in theatres at the end of November. So it's a bit of a run, which is fun. Yeah, it's been interesting to see it with all these different audiences and see how it plays.
Yeah, yeah. What a great amount of travel and so on. Tell me how the audiences overseas have reacted to the Royal Hotel.
I mean, it plays pretty well. The interesting thing is the Americans don't really get the jokes, so the humor is a bit lost on the Americans, which has been funny to watch. They really see it as a very dark movie. They can't see the light and shade in it as much as I think we can. And the Brits get our sense of humor. So I think it's a little easier for everyone to understand in the UK. But yeah, it was interesting watching it in America. They still seem to have embraced it, though. It seems to have gone really well there critically and everything. So yeah, we're feeling good about it. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Because you've worked in America, I think was the assistant shot in America?
Yeah, shot in New York City. Yeah, right in the
Ah,
middle
I
of
thought,
everything. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. How do you compare your experience working in America compared to back in Australia?
I mean, it was very different, I think, and there's times on that set when it was so cold and it was so windy, and Julia was like, why aren't we in Manhattan in an office building? It's a lot easier. That shoot was so much easier. But yeah, no, it's definitely no, it's an experience for her, and she had a great time. And I think in the end it's the product, speaks for itself. So, but we definitely, they were both very different experiences, that's for sure. Absolutely different. Yeah.
So I'm quite intrigued, Kitty. What was it that got you into being a filmmaker in the first place?
I don't even know. I just wanted to do it when I was very young. I wanted a video camera when I was 11. That was what I wanted. And I begged my parents for one, and I figured out how to use it and started making movies. And I haven't really looked back since. So not sure where it came from, some gut instinct or something that I had back then. But yeah.
Okay, well done, because you're certainly making some really interesting films. I mean, I noticed you also did Casting John Benet,
Mm,
and Ukraine is not a brothel, which is
yeah.
a remarkable film.
Yeah, they were documentaries, and I had a good time making those. It's nice to be in fiction though, because you get a little more control in fiction than you get in documentaries. So it's been fun
Yeah.
to make some fiction movies.
Do you have any particular favorite films or filmmakers that might serve as inspiration about how you approach making fictional films in particular?
I don't know. I kind of like a mix of everything because I watch a lot of TV, so I can watch really rubbish TV, and then I also love like those, big dark Eastern European movies. And my mother loves Haneke and Zvyagintsev and people like that. And so I think my influences are very varied. You know what I mean? Like I take a little bit of this and a little bit of that and find my own voice in between it all, I think. Yeah.
Sure. Just going back to the Royal Hotel, I mean, getting financing for a film and getting distribution and so on is always a bit of a battle. Was that an issue for you in terms of having the film out there and getting financing?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's always hard. And I think it's harder when you're a female director. People, get a bit, we heard a few people say, we've funded a few female films like this year and they didn't do very well, so we don't want to do another one. Like it's that kind of like you put in a bit of a box, I think. It's a bit sad. But we found the money eventually, and we could have used a bit more. We just shave a few weeks off the schedule in order to get it done because we got sort of a smaller amount than we probably needed. But we somehow managed to pull it off in the time frame, and so it was all okay. We found the right partners in the end, I think, which is good.
Well done on that. It's and I noticed the film is also one of the 41 films in the mix for the Australian Academy of Cinema and Television Arts Awards.
Oh yes, exactly. Yes, cool. So
It's a big year for Australian film. I'm really astounded.
yeah. There's been some good films this year, actually. Yeah. Yeah, I wonder I don't know how that's all going. I don't know the dates of all that, but has been an exciting film. I've seen, I really liked, we each worked with the same crew actually that worked on the New Boy, Warwick Thornton's movie, and talk to me. So like I feel like it was a good crew. Like they're making pretty solid movies down there in Adelaide, I'll say. Some good craft going on there.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, Kitty, I'm now quite intrigued. Are you working on another film at the moment?
I am, yeah, I sort of kind of got ideas. I don't know. I've been working too hard, kind of promoting this movie and going to festivals and talking about it and trying to get people to see it. So I've been very busy, but in a few weeks' time, hopefully I'll be able to sit there and kind of really nut out some of the things I've got moving around in my brain at the moment. So yeah, we'll see.
Oh, well, I'm certainly looking forward to your next films. I think I mean, you have a terrific track record
Thank you.
already, I think. So there you are.
Yeah, hope we can do another one. So we'll see how we go. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. So the Royal Hotel, as you say, is now releasing at South by Southwest at screening, and then in Sydney, and then November 23rd national release. And I suppose you'll be following the film around, doing more Q&A sessions, more events, perhaps, to
So
promote the film.
yeah, I think so. We're still figuring out what that schedule looked like up to the release, but we're definitely doing a few festivals in the next few weeks and see how everything kind of comes together. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, look, congratulations on the film, and we've been speaking to Kitty Green, who's the director and co-writer of The Royal Hotel, releasing in Australian cinemas later in November. Kitty, thank you so much for talking with me.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All the best. Bye bye.
Peter.
Yeah.